Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. Yesterday, Sunday, July 26th, 2015, was the debut of the TV show I Am Cait about Caitlyn Jenner, Bruce Jenner's new name, living as a transgender woman. I've done other video posts on Bruce Jenner's transition to Caitlyn, and what I showed is that Bruce Jenner's entire life has been by the numbers. And the way this show opened yesterday, titled I Am Cait, began with this shot that you see on the screen. This is exactly how the show began. A shot of an alarm clock, and then Bruce Jenner or Caitlyn Jenner coming on the screen and saying, "It's 4:32 in the morning and I am tired." We're going to get to all of this, but this number 432, as it happens, has a connection to the number 666. And the reason that's curious is because yesterday was Obama's 6th year, 6th month, and 6th day in office, and he was doing something curious, giving a speech in Africa, in Kenya, in Nairobi, which I also did a post about. Also yesterday, on this same day that this show I Am Cait debuted, Bobby Christina Brown died, who has a connection to Caitlyn Jenner, Bruce William Jenner. And also, her death is very much connected to the number 666 as well. I did a video on that. So you can watch my video on Obama's speech. You can watch my video on Bobby Christina Brown's death by the numbers. Right here, we're doing another piece on how Caitlyn Jenner, Bruce Jenner's life has been by the numbers leading up to this show. I also want to point out that yesterday in Detroit, Michigan, a Baphomet statue was released in tribute to Satanism. Time magazine did a big article on it. I'm going to do another video on that next. But even that connects to this through numerology. It's a lot to explain. We're going to come back to this post right here. I want to go back in time to the Vanity Fair. For those of you who haven't seen my other work on Caitlyn Jenner, by the end I will connect everything. So just bear with me, follow. There's a lot to cover here. Not long ago, Bruce Jenner, now called Caitlyn, where he debuted the name, appeared on Vanity Fair, and everything about this is by the numbers. Notice that Vanity Fair has Pythagorean gematria of 53, just like the word transgender. And gender, in simple English gematria, sums to 53. The last time I did this video, somebody commented that I must be a real idiot if I think gender and transgender both sum to 53. Again, this is simple English gematria. This is Pythagorean gematria. They are interrelated. Let me show you how. Do you see this phrase, call me Caitlyn? In Pythagorean gematria, call me Caitlyn sums to 49. In simple English gematria, the name Bruce sums to 49. The name Caitlyn replaced the name Bruce. This is why there's Pythagorean in simple English. If you want a value to be represented in a phrase, you need to make the letters worth lesser values. If you want the same number represented in a word, you need larger values. Thus the interrelated systems. Going back in history, Family Guy, the TV show, another show that does things by the numbers. I have videos on Family Guy and Seth Woodbury MacFarlane. On May 3rd, 5/3/2009, 6 years ago, there was an episode about Bruce Jenner being a woman. Think about that. This same number coded back then that's now coded. It's because all of these people are part of these Zionist Masonic organizations that do everything by the numbers, which is what I'm revealing on this video blog. Also, think about how the name Jenner sounds a lot like gender. And what else is interesting about Jenner is it has simple English gematria of 66, just like the word woman. And this year, on October 28th, 2015, he will be turning 66. This cover came 149 days before he turned 66. And remember, Bruce and Call Me Caitlyn equals 49, kind of like 149. So, before he was named Caitlin, he was in this car accident, right? And the car accident happened on February 7th or 2/7. Interestingly enough, Bruce Jenner lost his brother in a car accident when Bruce Jenner was 27. We'll talk more about that. Lots of 27 coding in that incident. In this incident, he supposedly killed a woman. Bruce Jenner supposedly killed a woman by accident on February 7th, 2015, just days after it was announced he'd be transitioning to a woman. At the time, I thought, wow, they're just creating more attention for this man and through a car accident of all things. But then again, this is the mainstream media that loves to report planes, trains, automobile accidents on the daily. The reporting officer, Sergeant Matthew Dunn, interestingly enough, he has name gematria of 44, the kill number, and the date of this accident had numerology of 44 as well. Let's see if I got it here. The woman he killed was named Kim Howe. A very interesting name. Kim in Simple English Gematria 33, Howe in Simple English Gematria 51. Put Kim Howe together, it sums to 84. 84, and that's interesting because the name Caitlin has Simple English Gematria of 84. Her show debuted Sunday, the only day of the week with 84 Gematria, and it happened on a big day for Obama, who has an 84 connection himself. His birthday is also 8/4, August 4th. Obama is said to be a lawyer, another word with 84 Gematria. This website doesn't do Pythagorean Gematria, but United States of America in Pythagorean sums to 84. And in the book 1984 by George Orwell, it begins on 4/4, April 4th. Think about how Obama's the 44th president. Think about how 44 and 84 are lining up already in this story for Bruce Jenner. Also, this accident happened on a date with 44 numerology, and it happened at 12:12 Pacific Standard Time, local time for Bruce Jenner. 12 times 12 is 144, a number directly connected to 44. See how this all syncs up, Truth Seeker? It's also the perfect time for a hoax, because time has a connection to 144. So my point so far is that everything that happens in Bruce Jenner's life is done by the numbers, reported in the numbers, for him and most celebrities on TV. And we're going to come back to the debut show. There's a lot more to talk about. But I want you to notice that Caitlyn Jenner recently won an award at the ESPYs. And ESPYs has Simple English Gematria of 84, just like the name Caitlyn. It was the Arthur Ashe Courage Award. And just think about this, Truth Seeker. This person just killed somebody in a car accident. This person just killed somebody in a car accident. And here they are winning an award for courage for transitioning to a woman. And a lot of people who believe these stories and just take the mainstream narrative, in their own mind, they're probably spinning the web that, well, Caitlyn probably crashed into this person and killed this person because they were under so much media scrutiny at the time from being criticized for making this transition to woman. And I know this stuff happens in the real world, Truth Seeker, because once upon a time I worked at a teen homeless shelter, and we took on an employee who was a transgendered person, and let me tell you something, that person brought real hell into a teen homeless shelter, which was not an environment for this. And everybody who worked there, well, not everybody. A lot of people really didn't like this person, but everybody in management who was in a position that mattered wouldn't do anything about this transgendered person but make excuses for them, saying, well, they're on pills to up their testosterone levels so they can make the transition to man, so that's giving them some behavioral problems, and really there's nothing we can do about that. And I was just thinking in my head, oh my God, you guys have hired someone who's going through a life crisis, who's having all these issues, who's now starting problems with teenagers who are seeking treatment at a homeless shelter, and you won't do anything about it because they're transgendered and we need to protect that? You know, Truth Seeker, this is the kind of stuff I've witnessed my whole life, just like the nonsensical political correctness that gets instilled on people and becomes the real religion of the day. And that's really all this whole Caitlyn Jenner thing is emphasizing. It's about something bigger than transgender. It's about living nonsensically. It's about pushing bullshit values. If you watched the show last night, It was all about kids who are thinking about becoming transgender. And let me tell you something, there's not that many people in this world who are thinking about becoming transgender. The only reason this kind of stuff is starting to happen is because of the times we're living in. And the more these narratives are put out there, the more people are going to want to make this transition. And what I say is, just because we can, does that mean we should? You know? The E! Channel should have done a show about truth seekers and how lonely and isolated they are in this world. That's something that deserves some real courage awards. Truth seeking. Okay, but let me get off that rant. I just wanted to let you know I've come across this transgender thing in my own life. I've seen how destructive it can be. I've seen how ridiculous society can be about it. The person I'm telling you about was a real wreck of a human being and was working at a teen homeless shelter, picking fights with teenagers as a 30-something-year-old in an environment where the rest of us are there to work to help these kids who are in need. And the workplace I worked in became more focused on protecting the transgender person than the mission of the shelter. So, okay, I have to get off that. Anyway, going back to this car accident, Bruce Jenner hit somebody on February 7th, 27, a lot like 27. His younger brother died when Bruce Jenner was 27. He died on a date with 27 numerology. He died November 20th, 1976. Bruce Jenner was 27 then. I'm sure you've heard about the Death Club, the Club of 27, all the musicians, actors who've died at the age of 27. I've done a lot of research on that, and I found out that most of those people who died at 27 had life numbers of 27 or 28. Almost all of them. Also, with regards to that death of his brother, the people who died were Judith Hutchings, Bruce Jenner's little brother's girlfriend, who had name gematria of 46. Burt Jenner, his little brother, who had name gematria of 46. And they died in Canton, Connecticut. Connecticut has the gematria of 46. Home of Yale Skull and Bones, old 322. With regards to the death of his brother, his firstborn son he would name Bert in honor of his brother. And with regards to living lives by the numbers, his first wife was named Christy Crownover, who has name gematria. Look at that spelling of Christy. Isn't that weird? And think about the name Crownover. Bruce Jenner, Kardashians, they're almost like a royal family in this country. You know what I mean? Crownover. Maybe the crown came across the seas through this offshoot family. But anyway, this name Christy Crownover, with its very interesting spelling, has 96, like the gematria of the word Freemason, and 105, like the gematria of Zionism. And as I always say, it's the Freemason Zionists who are behind all this, creating this media, putting out their agents, creating culture, forming society-wide perceptions. The story I just told you about the teen homeless shelter, that wouldn't have happened, 20 years ago. It happened up here in Seattle in the mid-2000s. So in Seattle, this city, this kind of stuff's been going on. Shows like this are turning more places into places like Seattle, where I live. So, him and Christy Crownover had this son that they named Bert. And Bert was born 9/6, a lot like Christy Crownover. I did a video earlier this year showing how the royal family births all sync up with the parents. It's the same thing here with this family. Born on a date with 93 numerology, very important number, number of Thelema, number of do what thou wilt. Named Burton Wilt Jr., even given a full name, Burton, with 27 gematria, connecting to his brother's death and now connecting to his most recent car accident where he killed Kim Howe, supposedly. This is what I mean when I say lives by the numbers. Something else interesting about Bruce Jenner, he went to high school in Newtown, Connecticut, where we recently had the Sandy Hook school shooting on 12/14/2012. 12/14/12. That shooting was all by the numbers, Truth Seeker. I've done several videos on that. Notice that he was born William Bruce Jenner, a name with 86 gematria, just like Bobby Christina Brown, who died on the same day as his show debuting. This number connects to things such as symbol, pyramid, triangle. All those words have that 86 gematria in simple English. Newtown, one of those 33 names. Very important number to the Zionists and the Masons. On 3/22/2011, remember Yale Skull and Bones is in Connecticut, less than an hour from Sandy Hook, that goes by the number 322. On 3/22/2011, 11 days after Fukushima, they had Bruce Jenner's name removed from the high school football field. Think about what an odd move that is. You have to remember that Bruce Jenner won all these gold medals in the Olympics. And the reason supposedly they took his name off the football field is because he's not donating money to maintain the field. You know? Think about that. As a rich man, he probably can afford to donate. But should he be entitled to? I mean, should he be expected to? Should be enough if you win all these gold medals to have your name on your high school's football field, it seems to me. So really, I think they were taking this name down in anticipation of all the things coming for Bruce Jenner, because he's become a lot more in focus in recent years than he was March 22nd, 2011. And look at this, Truth Seeker. We're about to draw some parallels between Bruce Jenner and Barack Obama. I just want to remind you how Barack Obama was saying he wouldn't run for president, wouldn't run for president, wouldn't run for president, until he did and became president. At the end of 2014, Bruce Jenner said he didn't want to be a woman, he just wanted to be younger. And they said he has Michael Jackson syndrome. We're looking at the Daily Mail headlines right here. Look at the gematria of Michael Jackson syndrome. 93, 102, 111. All numbers very important to the United States. Remember, the word propaganda is also 93. Number of do what thou wilt in Thelema. And Bruce Jenner was 64 at the time of this article, another number that connects to Thelema, Zionism, and the rest of this stuff we're exposing. With regards to his show, it's titled I Am Cait, which has Jewish gematria of 153. Recall that in the Bible, the miracle catch of fish is of 153 fish. 153 fish. The word fish in Jewish gematria, I'll just show you this real quick, Truth Seeker. Fish is 113, and there's this miracle catch of 153 fish. Also notice how the 153 in Pythagorean gematria, it sums to 113. These numbers coming from the Bible and even coded on this show, I Am Cait, and through the names Caitlin and Cait. By the numbers over and over. So now here we are where we began. The alarm clock, the way the show episode 1 begins, 4:32. When I first looked at that, I thought of, like a countdown, 4, 3, 2, 1. It also reminds me of the initials for Martin Luther King. M is the 13th letter, 1 plus 3 is 4. L is the 12th letter, 1 plus 2 is 3. K is the 11th letter, 1 plus 1 is 2. And Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated on 4/4, April 4th. But I thought, man, maybe there's more to it, so I wanted to look. And what stood out to me is that in Jewish gematria, hexagram sums to 432. This seemed particularly important, realizing that yesterday was Obama's was his 6th year, 6th month, and 6th day in office, 666. The hexagram is much like the Star of David and is full of all sorts of 6 tributes. And then also yesterday, Bobby Christina Brown died, with connecting to this same number. And also yesterday, the Church of Satan revealed a statue of a Baphomet in Detroit. So, with regards to it being Obama's 6th year, 6th month, 6th day in office, this number with the show connecting to hexagram, it made me think about this. The name Caitlin, 84. The day Sunday, 84. The name Obama in Jewish gematria, 84. United States of America, Pythagorean gematria, 84. This is propaganda for the United States of America and synced up with a greater overall agenda. Let's notice what he said. This is his opening line to start the show, even though this article said it was his 4th most important quote. This is how it begins. It's like 4:32 in the morning and I can't sleep. I feel bad that especially young people are going through such a difficult time in their life. We don't want people dying over this. We don't want people murdered over this stuff. They say his most important quote is this: I know how these kids can feel. I have had very dark moments in my life. I have been in my house with a gun and said, let's just end it right here. No more pain, no more suffering. That's struggle. It's real, and I've been there. Notice how he uses the word kids, Truth Seeker. Remember, he's going by this name, Cait. Check out kids in Jewish gematria. And as so many of us know, especially those who are awake, pretty much everything on TV in this society is targeted at children. Programming from an early age. I can only imagine what it's like to be a kid at this day and age growing up with what's out there. You know? There's just so many things. From the clothes and the fashion, little girls are in tiny, skimpy clothes. If you watch TV programming, even on things that are targeted for children, such as Disney, there's so much sexuality in it at a young age. They're putting these things on children's minds at an earlier age. And as a little kid, do they really need to be thinking about, I live in a world where, man, if I don't want to be a boy anymore, I can be a girl. Or if I don't want to be a girl anymore, I can be a boy. Our lives are already overcomplicated enough. So this kind of programming right here, it just further instills the madness. And then when you see that it is being done by these numbers, by a gang that wages these numbers all the time, you see that the agenda is most definitely not good. Most definitely not good. Truth Seeker, this statue that they opened up yesterday, this tribute to Satan, one more tribute to Satan, they made the statue 102 inches tall. 102 inches tall. It's 8.5 feet tall. 8 feet's 96 inches. 6 more inches is 102 inches. I just want to remind you, United States of America in Pythagorean gematria is 84, 93, 102. And the people doing this are the Synagogue of Satan. The Synagogue of Satan as referenced in Revelation. And notice the gematria of Revelation. 726, like yesterday's date, 726. Are you seeing what I'm saying, Truth Seeker? All of these things that happened yesterday are part of a well-organized agenda against us. And with regards to the satanic belief, their church in Los Angeles is located on 4253 Michigan Avenue. Michigan is where Detroit is, where this statue was unveiled yesterday. 102-inch statue. Remember, the 9/11 attack lasted 102 minutes. Remember the phrase, fuck you equals 102. You think I'm joking? This is what I've always thought since I was a little kid, Truth Seeker, that this country is just a giant fuck you. And with each passing day, I believe it that much more, as much as I don't like to use the word believe. Maybe I think it. So anybody out there defending this transgender shit, defending this TV show, show them what's really up. I agree, as a people, we shouldn't be judgmental. We should mostly let people be themselves. But there's also such a thing as common sense and what's right to do and what's reasonable within society. Like I said, I had to work with somebody going through the transgender transition, and they brought a real shitstorm into a lot of people's lives, including my own. And everybody made excuses for them because they were on testosterone pills, because they wanted to go from being a woman to a man. Show you one more thing about 432. Notice that the gematria of the creator is 432. And notice how in simple English gematria it's 113. Remember, a lot of 113 coding. The name Cait equals 113 in Jewish gematria. I think all this transgender stuff is, in a way, a real insult to the true creator. We're made as men and women for a reason. I've been listening to a lot of talk radio. I heard a transgender person call in, and they said their voice sounded like they had just sucked up a bunch of helium. It didn't sound like an authentic voice, but this person was talking about how since they were 4 years old, I won't forget it, since they were 4, they've known that they were supposed to be a woman. They've had a man's body but the brain of a woman. And I was just listening to this and I was thinking, this just sounds like somebody who needs like a support group. I don't believe it. 4-year-old who thinks they're supposed to be a woman when they're a boy. I don't buy it, Truth Seeker. Could be wrong. I could always be wrong, but I don't buy it. And also, with regards to that number 113, don't forget it. Mainstream, 113. Dishonest, 113. Green screen, 113. In the Bava Kama, A113, it says a Jew can circumvent a Gentile by lying to them. In Bible, in Revelation, remember the word that connects to yesterday's date? Well, if I spell it right. Revelation, it says the synagogue of Satan, the false Jews will rule in the end times. They are mentioned in the verse with the Church of Philadelphia, where the nation's original capital comes from. And recall, this year we also had that big incident with the train crash in Philadelphia. I have a video on that as well. Telling you, all this stuff comes together. The Revelation coding was all over that Philadelphia train crash too. And one more thing about Revelation. This website doesn't do Pythagorean gematria, but if it did, you'd see that Revelation sums to 49 in Pythagorean gematria, like the name Bruce. Bruce becomes Caitlin. So a lot of information there, a lot of big connections. Hope you followed. That's pretty much the extent of the message, Truth Seeker. One more thing, these Satanists, they really are hardcore numerologists. Look at the phone number for Los Angeles Satanist Society. Begins with 323. 323 number. Begins with 68, another number they love, the reflection of 86, like William's name. Also yesterday had that connection to 68. 68 numerology yesterday. Those of you who ask me where these numbers come from, the more you trace them, the clearer it becomes. All right, until next time. Encore Truth Seeker. For a while now, I've been listening to people tell me that Michelle Obama is really Michael LaVaughn Robinson and Obama is really gay and married to someone who's transgender. I don't know that any of this is true, but with everything lining up so well yesterday, I think it lends a lot of credence to this theory. It's not confirming, but it is very suspicious that there was all this 666 coding on Bruce Jenner's debut show, I Am Caitlin, and also it syncing up with Obama's 6th year, 6th month, and 6th day in office. And then again, all the 84 connections. Caitlin's 84, Sunday's 84, Obama's 84, Obama's birthday's 84. Very suspicious, Truth Seeker. All right. Until next